Fuji's been pretty much king, and they've perfected the crop line, especially for themselves and what they have out there. One of my favorite cameras of all time, my main driver, is the Fuji X Pro 2. Now, I never fully focused a lot on what the video options that Fuji had out there. I had the XH1 last year, I think it was, and I really enjoyed what that had. The F-Log in it really blew me away. So you always looked at the XH1 or the X-T2 if you wanted more video features. Now, Fuji's great at adapting to the users and updating with firmware, but they came out with the Fuji X-T3 this year, and this is probably their best camera, even though I like the X Pro 2 more. But in all reality, this has a ton of options in it. I don't know how much more perfect you can get a crop sensor and the features than in this little guy right here. None of this is sponsored. I'm just saying, wow. So I was able to rent this from B&H, so thank you for B&H for being able to send that out. I was not paid or sponsored in any way. Just sent this so I could give a review on it and to give my thoughts. Now, I've had this X-T3 for a couple of weeks now, and already being around the Fuji line, I'm very comfortable with their cameras, their menu systems, so hopefully I can, give you a little bit more insight as well. For $1,500, is it worth it? My easy answer is hell yeah. Once again, there isn't a lot missing from this, and if anything, it's missing just one thing, and that's image stabilization in body, which the XH1 had. So I see Fuji's kind of protecting that to an extent, and you'll probably see that in an XH2 and probably not in, like an X-T4. So that's pretty much the only thing missing, but a lot of the lenses have OIS in it. The stabilization is phenomenal, but it'd be great if, the camera actually had it as well. Fuji lenses are some of the best made out there, especially in the crop line. So $1,500, I think it's an easy buy, and I'll tell you a little bit more why. And once again, one of the things I always talk about is ergonomics and comfortability, because that's one of the most important things in having a camera. How does it feel in your hands, and how does it feel navigating the camera? If you're watching this video, you're pretty much probably in the Fuji or Canon, interested in probably Fuji or something like that. And once again, it's all the external dials. Fuji knows how to make camera bodies, and their cameras really reflect it. On the left side here, you have a click option, and you can change your ISO. It's all external. It's great not having to menu dive or, dive a little bit to find something, etc. And go from there. You have your shutter dial up here, exposure compensation, a function button here. You can adjust, like the EVF and everything. So a lot of everything you need is on the outside of the body. And once again, the ergonomics are pretty decent. I always wish that the XT had a little bit more of a deeper grip. I really like how the Fuji XH1 feels the best. Probably out of any of the cameras. The X Pro 2 still has a slimmer type of grip as well. I like that a little bit more than the XT line. So I always felt that they could do a little bit more, but they add a little thumb cushion on the back here. So that way when you grab it, you have, more of a grip and you could go from there. But besides that, the grip is great. You have your two front and back dials here. So you could change your shutter, ISO, or whatever you want to do. And if you dive into the back right here, you also have your little flippy screen here. It's not fully articulating, but you can look straight up, and down. And the one thing, and it's still not the best thing out there, is they have their little portrait one right here, where if you're, looking at your camera here, or, tilting it down, something like this, you can look at it. At that point, Fuji, just put an actual articulating screen in. But it's great that this has one. Great for getting those low shots and being able to have a little bit more accurate shooting. And also commented, I love that it has the, similar menu and everything, but it also has the joystick in the back, so you can move your autofocusing points around. It's not a pain. You get a semi-touch screen and everything here. It's a perfect little bundle of whatever you need in an X-T3. There's like 4 processors, a quad, whatever, in this camera right here as well, so it is very fast. And when I talk about fast, it's fast, accurate, snappy, autofocusing wise. And I was even shocked, and that I'm talking about mainly the stills here, but I was even shocked putting it into video. Canon and Sony have always been the best video autofocus wise. I mean, Canon, I'm using the M50 here, and I've used the EOS R2. The dual pixels, one of the best on the market in my opinion. Sony's been close. I think they made huge leaps and bounds with the X-T3 right here. And I'll even I'll do a little test like I do always here, little short sample test. And I was very, very shocked to see that it tracked as well as it did. Once again, you get the eye and face AF, and it tracks amazingly. So very, very shocked there. I would still probably put dual pixel over it, obviously. So they're making leap and bounds with their autofocusing system, and I only think that they're gonna get even better down the line, and to see what they do in further firmware. So, hello, what's up? Just doing a test. This is gonna be overexposed. This is not gonna be. What's it look like? What's it look like when this goes to 24? How insane does it get? Does it keep focus? What if it goes to, to 10? Look at how wide this goes right here. If I place this down, do another quick test. I'm sure this is a great angle for someone like me. But if I like move around, how well does it track? I mean, does it do very well? Does it not? How about it? 18 millimeters. How is it tracking? Is it doing the IAF? Is it doing the face AF thing? I don't know. You get all your film modes as well, your typical Fuji ones. I'm not really going to break those down because I don't use them much. I rather prefer editing, but I know a lot of people love the look of them. So you have all of them, nothing's really missing out. The other big thing on the video side is that you have 4K at 60 frames per second. You do get a slight crop at that 60 frames, but you bump it down to any other frame rate and you pretty much have full use of it. Unlike like Canon, Nikon, you don't get the full use of the sensor at 4K. So Fuji knows what they're doing there as well. You also get 120 frames if you want to bump it up and really crank at 1080p full HD. You have a wide range of options. It even does 10-bit out of camera, and once again, it has F-Log. And going back to when I used the X-H1 last year, the X-H1 had amazing F-Log, and I really liked how much range you could throw into that bad boy right here. And this is the exact same result. I even wanted to do it in more of a lower lit scene to see how you could really push something like this, shoot it, raise the shadows and everything like that, see a little bit more of the range. Once again, blown away by what F-Log offers, especially in the X-T3. The image quality is great, the video is great. Fuji once again knows what they're doing. The other two things that really stuck out to me are the weather sealing on this camera. The weather sealing is known to be very, very good. I was out in the rain with this by accident, and it actually came out, I mean, fine, there's no issues. It's highly rated as being very weather sealed. And the other is having that protection of having that dual card slot, SD in this case for the X-T3, having that protection, having that security, and knowing that you can write to both cameras and you're fully protected. So really the last question is it worth $1,500? Absolutely. It's an amazing camera for what it is. I wouldn't still upgrade from my X Pro 2. I like the design more of the X Pro 2, but if I was to get something else in the Fuji line, this X-T3 would definitely be it. And the other question is, well, is it worth a jump from the X-T2? So if you go to sell your X-T2 right now, it's of course not going to hold value as it did before because this newer one is out. But with a lot of the same cameras out there, bodies really hold. Bodies and lenses obviously hold their value pretty well for the most part. Bodies a little less. But I even think if you really want the cutting edge, it might be worth losing that a little bit more money to jump up to something like this. And you can use your full range of lenses as well. The X-T3 simply blows me away. I mean, and easily puts itself up there as probably one of the cameras of the year of 2018 alongside the Sony A7 III. Now, another slight debate might be, do you compare this X-T3 crop to what the Sony A7 III full frame is? And I'm not really going to dive into that too much, but I will say the gap, and this is from someone who's been full frame for years now being basically just crop camera right now in my kit. The gap has changed a lot from full frame to crop. You used to go full frame because there was leaps and bounds better, but the gap is definitely closed, and I don't think that's as big of an issue. So if you want to go the Sony route, the A7 III, because it's close in price, $2,000, or around the $1,500 mark, just see what you want. Just see what's better for your shooting style. I think Sony still wedges its way against Fuji a little bit more, especially in video. They're a little bit more dynamic and they seem to do a lot more, but Fuji keeps up very well. So I want to hear your thoughts down below. Once again, thanks for BH for sending this out. I'm glad I could share this with you guys and girls out there. It's a hell of a camera, one of the cameras of the year, no doubt. I'll even say that early for that matter. But what are your thoughts? Is this worth an upgrade from the X-T2? Is this something that's worthy of a debate against a Sony A7 Mark III or something like that? Let me know your thoughts down below. Let's talk it. Let's have some fun. The Fuji X-T3. Fuji, keep making great stuff. It's great to see what you put out there and a lot of the competition around. Fuji, you know what you're doing. Sony, you guys know what you're doing. Canon, Nikon, just have to wake up a smudge to get a little bit more in the discussion.